What is going on, Avie Nation? Hope everybody's doing absolutely incredible. Today, we're diving into theories. So, two theories that we're going to be discussing today. Very, very interesting, in my opinion. The first one is a huge stretch, a huge stretch. The space is fake. Okay, space is not real. Space is something made up. But hold on. Okay, let me start off by saying I don't believe that. I believe the space is real. I believe that there's stars up there and other planets and other galaxies, and I don't believe that the world is flat. Let's not get that twisted. However, the argument that space is fake is actually a pretty interesting argument. So we're going to be discussing that today. Uh, First off, the thing about the space being fake, why would we want to fake space, right? So in history, if you haven't read or noticed, all emperors, oligarchs, kings have always wanted a one world government, right? A one world government meaning that, one person controls the entire world, everyone lives under that. The fact of the matter is nobody wants a one world government. Politicians don't, citizens don't, other countries don't. Like it wouldn't really make sense. So if someone wanted to have a one world government, there's really only one way of doing that. And it would have to be everyone would have to embrace it. Everyone would have to want it. Everyone would have to come together. But how could you do that, right? So the Vatican at one point wanted a one world government as well. They wanted to control everything, right? They're also one of the Vatican has a lot of information on space, like a lot of information on space, an absorbent amount of information on space. And the Pope wanted to rule the world at that time. And it was just, the Vatican has done some weird things, right? Um, Now, the only way it would be possible to start a one world government is if there was an outside threat. So if you had a threat from, another world that was coming here to wage war on us and we needed to fight back. That's one of the only ways that you would be able to start a one world government. So the argument is that space is fake because these world leaders wanted a one world government. And the only way to do it was to say that there is a threat coming to Earth that's going to harm us. So we as people need to get together and fight back, right? So the argument is they're slowly but surely releasing the fact that aliens exist, okay? And that that part's a little bit of a stretch for me because I don't know, there's just so many videos and so many things that you see that we as humans cannot produce. There's no way that we've been able to produce certain things, yet our military equipment is still so archaic, I guess you could say. Um, but apparently all UFO sightings, all talks about alien is just a ploy to start a one world government. And so they faked space to try to make that happen. And yeah, let me know what you think about that down in the comments below. And if you're listening on the podcast or watching on the podcast, you can go to the AV Nation YouTube channel and check this out as well live. Um, Now, it's supposed to be like a fake invasion. Aliens are supposed to come down to Earth, invade us. And do I think that's going to happen? No, I personally don't. Could it happen? Yes, absolutely. Do I believe aliens are real? Absolutely. We are dumb to think that there's nothing else out there. We're so basic, what we're made out of and what it takes to create human life, and it's all out there. It's all in space, and it's been proven. So why would we be the only ones alive? We wouldn't. There's other galaxies out there. Unless you think space is fake, then there's no other galaxies out there. But yeah, that's kind of crazy. Next up, we're going to be talking about the Hitler conspiracy theory. Okay, so yeah, there's a Hitler conspiracy theory. So in Berlin, Hitler was said to have committed suicide. However, we did we as Americans did not retrieve a body. Russians retrieved a body. That body was not examined for a very long period of time. And when it was examined, they took, I believe it was like teeth samples to try to figure out who it was. Um, and it was the body of an older woman. It wasn't Hitler's body whatsoever. However, Russians denied that the skull was examined and said that that never happened, even though it did. Like, there's scientists that went there to examine it, and it did happen. I think they were just like trying to cover up the fact that they screwed up and grabbed the wrong body, or the fact that they just screwed up in general. And then after that, they brought in a team of French pathologists. The Russians did. The Russians decided to bring them in. So that's sketchy in its own, because did they pay them off to say all this stuff? But apparently they inspected Hitler's teeth, and the French team stated that it was Hitler. Right after, well, not right after, I think it was a couple of years after, it had been stated that it was an older woman's body. And that to me is wild. It's almost like they brought in the French pathologists, paid them just to cover their own asses because they screwed up. So the thing with that is a lot of high-ranking Nazis, officials, we're talking about like bigwig Nazis, tens of thousands of these guys made it to South America, which is crazy that we even let that happen. So it's a theory that Hitler did make it to South America and took up some land there and lived out the rest of his life. I personally, I feel like this could be possible. The fact that, we examined the body, said that it was of an older woman, and then Russia had to come in, hire French pathologists, and, either they were doing that just to make sure that the information was correct, that it was Hitler, or they did it to cover their own asses. That you have to make a decision on for yourself. But I personally feel like Hitler could have made it. Especially, yeah, I right now, especially with everything that's going on, I just don't trust not Russians. I just don't trust Russia and what they say, because, I mean, let's be honest, they're not doing the greatest things in the world right now. They're quite pathetic, in my opinion. Now, if he did flee to South America, the fact that we couldn't find him is pretty wild with all the tech that we have. And what's crazy is after the war, or immediately after, there was a general who wanted to immediately go to Russia and start fighting against Russia, start fighting against communism, because communism was the threat directly after the whole fascist, Nazi, just everything. The next threat was communism. And we as a nation decided not to pursue it. And look what we're dealing with now. Communism is a horrible thing. And the thing is we have to remember as Americans that we were born into freedom. That's all we know. That's what we like. We love having free speech. We love being able to do things freely. However, people in communist countries such as Russia, North Korea, that's all they know. And they like it. A lot of them like it. They think that having a structure that tells you what you can and can't do is good for them, and that it produces better lives, which it doesn't. And it's obvious that it doesn't, and they're brainwashed. But that's how they've grown up. So they don't understand the idea of freedom. So us as Americans, we need to stop thinking that everyone wants to be free, because that's not the case. It's just not. Anyway, enough about the rant on that. But yeah, tens of thousands of high-ranking Nazis made it to South America. Nazis such as Joseph Mengele and Adolf Eichmann. Horrible people. I believe it was Joseph Mengele that was the doctor of death. He used to take needles filled with blue dye and try to turn people's eyes blue, because that was what they wanted. They wanted the blue eyes. He also tortured twins to see if the other twin could feel it. and he's just absolutely just disgusting people. Um, Now, what's crazy is if you go to South America now, a lot of people there speak German. There's a lot of different colonies, German colonies. There's over 50 and hundreds of thousands of descendants of Nazis living in South America. That, when I found that out, that was wild to me. That's insane. That is insane. And so I got a lot of this information from the Joe Rogan podcast. There was a man on there, and he was promoting Hunting Hitler, which is on the History Channel. So I'll give a little bit of a shout out for that. Hunting Hitler, it's a full documentary series on this, and you can watch that on the History Channel. But these German, they have parlors, and it's filled with European tiles and European artwork, and they speak German. And some of them have actually come to the United States and tried to, do criminal activity that has to do with race and a whole lot of things, and they're in prison now. And it's crazy that we have literal descendants of Nazis who are surrounded by that culture every single day, just chilling in South America, just hanging out in South America. Absolutely wild. So I mean, it is possible that Hitler could have made it there, and if he did, I don't know how we couldn't find him. I mean, maybe he was hiding underground, but we did spend some money. There's actual FBI documents stating that we spent money trying to search for Hitler after the war, try to look for him in South America. Like, we actually sent people to South America to look for Hitler. Obviously they weren't able to find anything, but it would just be crazy. One day we just dig up some bones in South America, and it's Hitler's bones. Like, that would not only prove that Russia was lying, but it would change the course of history. And the fact that it's not 100% that he did die in that bunker, that he did commit suicide, yet it says it in our history books, is a little odd to me. I feel like we try to protect our kids and our youth from evil, but sometimes they need to see what evil is out there. Like, if he did get away, we should know. If they didn't actually find his body, we should know. As American people, they need to stop hiding stuff from us like this. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about these two theories. Absolutely wild to me. The space is fake. Obviously, I don't believe the space is fake, but I mean, let's be honest. The argument is pretty crazy. And if it was real, that space was fake, then that would be probably the reason why. If you guys enjoyed this video, you can also listen to the podcast on Spotify. Link will be down in the description below. Hope you enjoyed. Catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.